I do have a theory actually about what might have scared them off. I think it might have been Anna's fiery response to Eric Bolling earlier today. I think that might have scared a few people away.
Well, that experience actually happened yesterday. And so it kind of goes to the point that Cenk was making about the chaos yesterday. There were some agitators here. Bolling happened to be one of them. And, you know, he was doing the typical right-wing media trick of interviewing rally goers. To take them out of context, mash them up into a video, and make them seem like they don't know what they're fighting for or talking about. And so at that point, I jumped in because I was like, all right, if you want to ask some questions, you could ask me questions. And, you know, Mediaite has covered it. You guys are talking about it on the show today. He had no interest in hearing someone answer his questions.
Well, I am actually...
He kept taking the mic away from me, kept interrupting.
I want to show people a section or two of this video. So we're going to play a short section, and then hopefully we can get a response from you about a little bit more about what was going on.
Here's one question. I will give you the mic away because he knows I have answers. He keeps taking the mic away because he knows I know the answers to these questions.
It's economy.
Just give me one. Norway,
Venezuela,
Sweden,
Cuba. They're not
Venezuela. Hold on, stop for a second. They are social democracies. They are social democracies. Okay, let me be clear about one thing. Venezuela is an interesting case that you guys never give the details about. Venezuela was a petrostate that put all of its resources, all of its energy, everything, all of its eggs in that basket. Oil prices go down, Venezuela is in trouble. Why
Socialism
is it?
fails.
No, that is not socialism.
Because you know,
that is not socialism. They stopped manufacturing.
Someone else's money.
They stopped manufacturing. They stopped exporting.
Okay, now that seemed like a really good explanation of the situation. Has he switched over to our side?
Yeah, I mean, he's not interested in like a good faith argument or debate. He's just coming here to try to smear people. And look, I'm actually shocked that I was able to get any point across because, you know, we were in the middle of a lot of chaos. And so I couldn't even hear myself speaking. And I was really worried that we would be taken out of context. And luckily, you know, we have our own film crew here. We had our own video. So The Blaze is planning on doing some coverage on that tonight. But luckily, we have the context out there for everyone to see.
Yeah, I was amused because he's like, all right, name one socialist country that's worked. We're like, Norway. He's like, fine, another one. Sweden, fine, another one. Denmark. And by the way, so of course those are actually considers themselves some form of socialism, right? But he wasn't saying fine. He was like, no, it doesn't count. Doesn't count. Like, wait. I mean, you can say it doesn't count, but it does. They're a form of socialism in those countries. And by the way, we have a form of socialism here. It's called Social Security, Medicare, cops, firefighters, military, etc. And so when I explain that, again, they're not looking for an answer. They're not looking for the correct answer. They were hoping that people didn't have the answer. And when they did, they're like, oh, well, I was giving you the mic so you wouldn't answer it. If you are, I'm taking the mic away.
So, you know, I'm curious about that because the shtick of these sorts of people, of which I would say him and Crowder and Ben Shapiro, is always that they like to debate. Okay, but the idea of debate is that someone could conceivably change their mind, either one of the people in the debate or someone watching it. I've noticed that nobody ever does change their mind. So when you engage in that sort of conversation with them, understand that Eric Bolling is never gonna be like, you know what? Damn my paycheck, I'm a progressive now. What are you hoping to achieve in that?
Well, okay, good question, John. So earlier today, I went on Newsmax, which is a very conservative organization, and they're run by one of Donald Trump's best friends. But believe it or not, they're actually a little bit more sane than the rest. I know it's a really low bar, okay, but we did have a normal, rational conversation, and you know what the host told me afterwards? He said, you know, thank God you guys didn't pick Bernie last time because he would have beat Trump. So that is a really conservative host saying that. And in that conversation overall, when we were on air, I kept going to things. I'm like, you know, your voters are against corruption. And they're like, well, that's true, right? And you know, you guys don't want Soros's money, right? And well, we don't want Koch brothers money. Now Tucker Carlson doesn't want Koch brother money in it. Well, that's true. So why don't we get all the money out? Right? And by the way, there is some surprising agreement. These days, not in the old days, but these days, a lot of them do not want to go to war. So they're growing to realize that the money that the Republican politicians are getting is in fact corrupting them, and they are in fact corrupt. And they're beginning to realize that wars haven't worked out for us. Next thing you know, they'll think, hey, wait a minute, why don't I have higher wages? And they might soon realize we're actually fighting not just for us, but for all of us, including them.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one other thing. Look, for me, it's not about Eric Bolling, right? Eric Bolling is a lost cause, and I recognize that. But it is about planting a seed when it comes to people who watch his show. So if you put the full context of that whole interaction out there, and some of his viewers see it, I mean, not all of them are gonna, actually listen to an argument and consider it, but some of them might. And even if they don't buy into it immediately, it still plants a seed. And I think, what I try to think about now is that New York Times story about the young man who became, radicalized by the right wing on YouTube, and how he became de-radicalized by shows like Ours and Sam Cedars. And so I just think that, there are people out there who are not lost causes, and we need to make good arguments, reasonable arguments that are based in evidence and fact. And eventually, I think some people are going to be persuaded by that.
Well, one last quick thing on that. To Anna's point, when he says, name one socialist country, and we say Norway, some percentage of his viewers might go, oh, yeah, right. Nah, Norway does. I'm sure Bolling's right. Norway doesn't count. And then they Google Norway, and they're like, oh, my God, it is socialist, right? And they're like, wait a minute. It sounds pretty good. They get childcare and health care, and it's not what Bolling and Blaze and Fox News describe it to be. It's not communism. They're talking largely about communism. Eric Bolling kept saying, but wait, in Norway, they let me make money. I know, they let you make money in socialist countries. He's talking about communism where no one is allowed to have any job they want and they're not allowed to set up businesses. He's just flat out wrong about the definition of those two different things.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.